Hey, welcome. I am going to transition this horse today to a Hackamore. So I thought it might be a nice video to make, since this horse is 14 years old and to my knowledge he's never been ridden in a Hackamore. And before I do it, I want to show you why I'm going to put him into a Hackamore. I made a couple of other videos with this horse in the past about slowing him down. Let me trot him off here. About slowing him down and teaching him to back up and just different things like that. And he has improved. I've owned this horse now for, I guess, about 4 months, maybe 5 months, something like that. So I probably have about 70 or 80 hours of riding on him. And I've gotten him where he'll give to this snaffle bit pretty well. He'll kind of collect up pretty nice there. He'll stop way better than he did. It's not perfect, but it's way better than it was. So all of that I've done in the snaffle bit. The reason I decided I want to try a Hackamore on him is because this horse, he's 14 years old and he has been bent a lot. I teach all of my riding students to slow your horse down by bending them. But this horse has been bent so much in years past that you bend him around like this. See, he didn't slow down at all. He did there. Once I finally got him all the way around, he did. But he's actually too soft side to side. And you can get a horse too soft, and you can get him too what I call noodle-necked. And he's kind of like that. And that's not, nothing bad on him, but he can run around here with his neck bent all the way to the side. And a Hackamore is not really designed for bending like a snaffle bit is. This snaffle bit's a side-to-side bit. It's designed for this right here, okay? And he's just, obviously he doesn't need any more of this. So my thinking in putting a Hackamore on this horse is that I won't be doing near as much side to side, but I'll be doing a lot more of setting his head. And there's a lot of reasons, I think, good and bad, that people would put a horse in a Hackamore. And let me tell you the wrong reason to put a horse in a Hackamore. All right, if you're going to do it because, I feel sorry for Fluffy because that bit is just so uncomfortable and mean. If that's what you think, then, there's other things you can use, but I wouldn't recommend this, and I'm not going to get into that debate. That's just not a good reason to do it. The reason I'm doing it, because I want to teach him this. Another reason that we do it sometimes is to get their neck rein better, because this is a Makati rein, and it's made out of horsehair, and it's kind of prickly. And so the horse can feel it a lot better on their neck. And so when you can teach a horse to neck rein with this, you can teach a horse setting their head and just different things. Now normally I would take one more wrap on this, but he's got a pretty big nose through here. And so I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll fit him with just that much wrap on there, because I don't want it to be too tight on his nose. You want it to be snug, but not too tight. And I am not, let me just say this, I'm not an expert at using a Hackamore. I'm pretty good with snaffle bits, and that's what I'm mostly familiar with. And I've been trying to learn, because Hackamore riding is really an art. And I'll show you when I get on him the difference, as I understand it, between a snaffle bit and a Hackamore. Okay, so I've got this tied with one less wrap than I normally would, because I think it's going to fit him a little better. Okay, all right, now let's put it on him here. Yep, hold on, my reins are twisted. One of the main differences between a Hackamore and a snaffle bit is that a Hackamore is a signal device. You don't have, this thing is made out of this is kangaroo leather here on the side. This is rawhide on the top, and it's pretty soft. It is not designed to be harsh. It's not designed to be rough in any way. And if you needed to, for instance, bend your horse's head side to side like I was doing with that snaffle bit, you don't want to really use a Hackamore. You can do it a lot better with a halter. A plain old rope halter would have a lot more bite on it than this Hackamore does. Okay, all right, so that actually fits him pretty well when I tighten this up. You want this to be above this cartilage right here. You don't want it down here because that can actually break. Probably not with this Hackamore, but it's real sensitive when you get down there. This is bone here. So you want it to sit about right there. You want this to be down here so that when you pick up on it, he's going to feel it right here. And that actually might even be a smudge too loose, so I may end up doing an extra wrap when I put this back on him tomorrow. Okay, and probably the best that I know of, one of the best Hackamore guys out there these days is Martin Black. And Martin Black says a Hackamore is a bluff. All right, and the reason he says that is because I don't have a whole lot of, there's not a whole lot of power in this thing. It's leather, it's fairly soft, and it feels to him basically like a halter. Back up, buddy. Okay, and so a horse can very easily run away with you in a Hackamore. They can. So before I get on him, and I don't really think he's going to run away with me, he's licking his lips there, I'm going to just kind of get him used to it. So I'm going to bend him because it does feel different than a halter. Certainly feels different than a snaffle bit, because when I pick up on it, there's a little bit of a twist because of the way the heel knot is tied. Okay, and that is probably just a smudge loose from what I'd like to see it. Tell you what, I'm going to raise it up about 1/2 inch on his nose here. So my plan is this, unless he just runs off with me in this thing, my plan would be to ride him in this for probably a couple of months. And then either go back to the snaffle or maybe go ahead and transition him into some kind of a transition type bit. I usually use like a Billy Allen type correction bit. And I could do that now and he would probably be okay. Go ahead and put him in a correction bit, but I just think this might help him. Okay, let's see what he does when I pull on both reins at the same time. Can I get him to back up? Okay. All right, so that's, and I've actually never seen a horse that didn't like a Hackamore. They like them. There's a lot of things you can't do in them, at least in my understanding of it. So they're not the answer to every problem. All right. So hopefully this doesn't turn into a runaway horse video. Okay. All right. And he does know a little bit of neck reining. He'll neck rein some, and so, but this will help him get a lot better. It was actually pretty good right there. I just laid that rein on his neck. He went ahead and turned. I didn't even have to add my leg. Okay, now, do you see him kind of throw his nose out right there? That's one of the reasons to use something like this. He did have a problem a little bit when I first got him about pushing into the bit, and this will help him get past that because there's really nothing for him to push against. All right, see him throwing his nose up? And how I'll deal with that is I'll just bring him around here and bump his nose. Now, I told you this is a signaling device. Ooh. If you start pulling on these reins, then by about the second day, this horse will be running off with you. This thing is not designed to be pulled on, it's a signal. So if I want him to bend, what I'm going to do is I'm going to signal him with a very light little, like this, signal, okay, like that. Okay, lay the rein on his neck. So I'm going to signal him to bring his nose around here to the right, and he may not do very well since he doesn't understand it yet. I'm asking him to kind of, I don't know if you can see, I'm just gently bumping him. Okay, and he's not going to do it very well today. He's not going to put his nose where I want it to be. But over a period of several weeks of riding with this thing, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I should be able to just bump him, and he should bring that nose right down here in front of his chest where I want it to be. Okay, got a little bit there. Okay, so I did that without pulling. Now let me go the other way. Bump, 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 bump. Okay, he didn't understand, so he's kind of throwing his head up, which is not unusual. I'm not surprised. Bump, there. Okay, all right. Okay, now let me trot him around here and just see what he does. I don't know if he'll stop at all with this thing. You can, like I say, you can bend a horse with a hackamore, but it's a lot harder than a snaffle bit. So could I bend him to a stop? I don't know. Ooh. Okay, now there he stopped just off my voice and my legs. Okay, let me see what he does if I just try to stop him with 2 reins here. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm not going to pull, I'm going to bump him. So I'm going to come in here and just bump, bump. Okay, that wasn't too bad. 1 bump, I bumped him twice. Let's try it again, let's go this way. And this horse, boy, he's got a lot of go. Okay, let's stop him here. Bump, bump, okay. There he threw his nose up, so I went ahead and bumped him again. And you can shake their nose down like that with a hackamore. You can't pull it down, but you can bump it down. Okay, ride him off. Let me just see if I can get something that looks like collection here. All right, yeah, that's actually not too bad. Okay, okay, he's fighting it a little. That's not bad. I like that stop. Okay. All right, so there's my introduction to the hackamore on this 14-year-old horse. Like I say, unless he starts running off with me, which he might, I'm going to ride him in it for a couple of months probably and just see if it helps get him better. And I'll kind of report back to you. And if you have questions about hackamores, go ahead and comment and ask me questions, and I'll do my best to answer it. I'm not an expert, as I said, but I am trying to learn, and I do see the value in it in certain circumstances.